show you what we've had to learn to do to entertain ourselves sometimes in the winter. Make us fat. Put that in there.
Oh, and I came over here for something.
Yes, you did.
A knife.
A kniff?
Yeah.
Alright. What do you do? We got the apple peel right there.
Oh.
See how it works.
I've never used it before. Show me.
A little frozen there for a second.
Some hair on your apples?
Hasn't been used in a while. Alright, so I think that you...
Oh, and it just kind of puts it up onto the peeler. Interesting.
You take an apple.
Educate me, Mother.
And you put it right there. There you go. You're going to need to get a towel down there because it's going to be juicy.
Yep.
Well, it didn't... Well, that didn't work well. See? It didn't do the apple the way it's supposed to.
You might need to get a little bit closer if you want to show them in detail. Henry.
See?
Are you going to help us, Henry?
There we are. It didn't peel the apple like it's supposed to, so I don't know if something's wrong with it or not.
Well, let me try another one. Let's see.
No, don't do it very delicious.
No, this is a Macintosh.
Oh, that's a big one.
I told you they have really good apples this year. Oh no, this is a quart one. This is a Macintosh.
Okay, are we confused?
Yeah. A little bit.
Well, I'm going to get a connect. Wait a minute, this isn't where it's supposed to be.
Oh, maybe that's what...
Did you bend it out?
What is this? What is this?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
This is my mother's and father's a long time ago. Oh, that worked? I stopped peeling them. Maybe we're going too fast. I will just do it with a knife. So we're going to be doing it the old-fashioned way.
Well, we tried.
With a kniff. I think it kind of mangled the apples.
A little bit. This poor thing. It's all shredded. Look at how sad that is.
Well, it really bruised the top of this thing.
Yeah.
We're going to need to wash that. You know, we should probably put the apples in here. They're going to peel.
Here, Henry, you like an apple peel? There you go. Yeah.
This is Henry, by the way.
Can they see him?
I don't know.
Hermie.
Go say hi to Caitlin.
Hermie. Hi, sweetie.
I hope we can avoid this, but I don't think we'll be able to.
Avoid what?
Peeling by hand.
Oh, I guess I need a knife. Oh.
You need a knife.
So I don't need that towel under there.
I wouldn't put that on the table. Look at your own trash can.
Rolling.
Hi, we're back. So we've divided up the chores. Caitlin is going to start the sauce and not put it to a boil yet until we get the apples in the canning jars. you have to sterilize your canning jars by boiling them in hot water first, as they're filled with water, because you don't want to boil an empty jar, it will break. And we are going to put the first batch of sauce together, so that once we get enough jars, you know, we should probably boil 6 jars right now, because we've got enough apples, I think, to fill. What are you looking for?
Sugar?
It's right here.
Yeah, reel over these.
So, we're going to put the jars into sterilize. Then we're going to cut up what apples we've got peeled so far. And we're going to get the sauce going that we put into the apples in the jar. And then we water bath them for 5 minutes on a rolling boil. So that's what Caitlin's doing, and I'm going to continue to peel because, and I will tell you, Caitlin, where's your brace?
It's upstairs.
That's good.
I can go get it.
Caitlin has a thumb brace now that she has to wear, which it keeps her thumb immobile, and it goes up to here on her forearm. And the reason being is because she has ticked so much with that thumb that she's got some damage inside her wrist and in her thumb area. So she's on muscle relaxers and she's on
Super Relief.
Super Relief, called naproxen. And we got to get her in to see a hand specialist to see if there is any damage to the tendon or muscles or ligaments or nerves in there, because it's really making it hard for her to
Yeah,
do
you
it.
can see it. I'm doing it right now.
That's her tick right there. And she's not doing it because I want to show you. She's doing it because she doesn't have a brace on. Caitlin, you're blocking my face.
I'm sorry. Well, here, why don't I move the...
No, you're fine.
Okay.
What I meant
They
earlier
can see you
about...
now.
What?
They can see you now.
Yeah, okay. Well, I don't need to see my ugly face. Anyway, what I said earlier about this is something that we do to entertain ourselves is because Caitlin and I love to can and we love to cook. And we canned 150 quarts of tomatoes this year. That's a lot of tomatoes. And we did green beans and carrots and... What else did we do, Caitlin?
Strawberry jam, strawberry rhubarb jam, peach jam, wild blueberry jam.
Wild Maine blueberry jam.
The only blueberry jam.
That's worth investing in.
I've forgotten how many cups of sugar I put in. I think it was 3.
4.5 cups, I think. Oh, you think? Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. One of the things that Caitlin and I have done is we've worked so closely together over the years, and I've taught her how to do this stuff, is that we finish each other's thoughts and sentences sometimes. And sometimes, when we're sitting at the table having dinner, we'll answer the same thing at the same time, and her husband kind of looks at us and goes, what do I do with that? So, yeah, we're a close-knit family, and I thank God for that, because I was a young mother, and I grew up with my kids, and it was a really fun way to mature. Of course, I was the mother all the time, but we had a lot of good times together.
Fun story.
Yeah?
When I was in undergrad, I had a friend who was blind, and one time Mom came down to visit, and I was already at the lunch table, and I said, "Hi, Gerald," and he said, "Hi, how are you?" And I said, "I'm well, how are you?" And then Mom came up after she got her stuff from the cafeteria, and she went, "Hi, Gerald," and Gerald said, "Hi, which one am I talking to?"
Oh, it was funny. It's the same way with her brothers. When I call home and one of them picks up, I have to say, "Who is this?" And I know it's only one of 3 people because they're all home, but I don't know which one it is because they all sound alike.
There's the cornstarch.
That's one of the reasons why we love to sing together, is because the harmonies that we have are so natural because it's all genetic. And the kids have wonderful voices, just wonderful. I sound like Ed Sullivan. It's so wonderful, oh wonderful. So at the end of this video, I will give you the recipe for this apple pie filling.
And we'll leave it in the description, so if you need to copy it down, you can. I'm throwing things.
Well, maybe that's what we should do anyway, just leave it in the description.
Okay.
And we can do apple cider jelly that we're going to do today is going to be kind of an experiment. We're taking bits and pieces from different recipes, from the strawberry jelly, from the blueberry jelly, from real apple jelly, and we're going to experiment with apple cider because it says you need 4 cups of liquid from apples that have been boiled and hung through cheesecloth and have it dripped into a bowl. So I figured we've already got the liquid with the apple cider, so why not use that? And I think it would give it a really nice tart flavor. What do you think, Caitlin?
I feel like it would be delicious on English muffins in the wintertime with a cup of tea.
It would be good on muffins, you know.
Yeah.
Not rock muffins, but muffins.
Working on it.
Oh, one of the things Caitlin did the other night as a wonderful surprise is she made, what kind of apple streusel?
Apple streusel.
Apple streusel muffins. And, you know, one of the things I've taught her is that you do not double recipes in one bowl because it never gets mixed right and it never comes out right.
And you overmix.
And you put too much flour in. And even though they had a really, really good flavor, it was like eating a big, giant apple dough ball.
Yeah, I flipped the first one out of the pan and it hit the cooling rack and I went, oh, that's not good. Because it just made this dong kind of sound. It was very heavy. I need a whisk.
So, you know, she's going to make them again, but that's the one thing that she can't cook well.
I don't understand it. I can do the most delicate cake recipes.
Matthew's
perfectly.
birthday cake was so spongy and soft. I was, you know, I was really looking forward to those muffins, and I took a bite of the dough. I took a bite of the stem part, and I went, flour.
Oh my gosh, I knew as soon as they were done. Oh man, what the heck am I doing? Hold on.
But oh man, she can make a lemon, what's it called? The lemon cheesecake.
Oh, it's a lemon cheesecake with lemon curd on top.
Oh, she can make, I love lemon. I absolutely love lemon.
The tartar, the better.
The better.
Oh my gosh. Stop reading my thoughts.
I can't. You do it to me all the time.
I know. Alrighty, so I got the first 4 ingredients. And salt and 10 cups of water. What am I supposed to put the lemon juice in?
I would just put it, when do you add it?
Stir until thickened and bubbly, add lemon juice. Okay, so not yet.
No, I would just put it on the counter, waiting to add it. But one of the things you have to be careful is that if this starts to bubble, it's thick, so if it sticks to you, it's going to burn.
Yes, I know.
Don't, you're in the way, but that's alright.
Gotta get to the sink, Mother.
I know. Don't rub it down over your skin because it will burn where you put it.
Yeah. Well, I did that with fudge once.
Yeah, I did that with No Big Fudge cookies. My sister was pregnant, and I was like 10 years old. Well, yeah, I was 10. And my other sister thought it would be good for me to stir the fudgy, gooey stuff while it was boiling. And I wasn't very much of a cook at that age. And she left me there by the stove, and it popped up and burnt my arm. And I reacted, and I hit the spoon, and a great big dollop of fudge stuff landed on my sister's arm, the one that was pregnant. And she rubbed it down, and when she did that, she burnt her whole forearm. Not a happy scene.
That's neat.
What is it that Caleb calls carbonara when he makes it?
Goopy carbonara. He got the name from The Sims 3, which is why he wanted to make carbonara in the first place. Because he was like, I wonder what that is and how it tastes.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. This guy can make iced coffees like nobody's business.
He wants to open his own coffee shop someday.
I think he would be awesome at it.
I think so too.
Well, you know, with OCD, he's so right on point, having everything done a specific way, that I think by the time he was open for a year, he'd have all the recipes memorized.
Oh, probably.
Is it mixing up okay?
Yep. There's just the cinnamon, because cinnamon's non-soluble.
So how does it spread out through the recipe?
It spreads and it becomes waterlogged, but as far as I know, cinnamon doesn't completely dissolve in things ever.
Wow.
Hey, you remember a few years ago that cinnamon challenge?
Yeah, I was just gonna say that.
That's why people were choking on it and actually having really bad respiratory problems, is because it doesn't dissolve.
Well, I'm glad you guys didn't try that.
Yeah, well, I knew. I was looking at it and I was like, do I really want to spend my days coughing on cinnamon? That doesn't sound fun.
Well, I think one of the most erroneous ones was the Tide Pod challenge.
Oh, dear.
I mean, seriously?
I'll start this out on low.
Alright. Well, what burner are you using?
Front one.
Okay, that's a good one. Wow, these chairs are hard. Holy moly.
You okay?
Yeah, it's just, I've lost so much weight sometimes down there that it's like sitting on bricks.
No more cushion.
I had to get that thing I got for Caleb for Christmas and just use it.
Oh, you got it in?
Yeah, I got him that seat.
You'll like that.
Yeah.
I'm going to switch to a wooden spoon because that metal one is...
Well, I think you should use wooden anyway, because the metal might change the recipe. Get off. Thank you.
There we go. Oh, okay.
So
it broke.
Well, it was going to be thrown away anyway, so.
There we go.
I've almost got this bag of Macintoshes done.
Wow. Good for you, Mother.
Oh, that's one thing we were talking about before we came back on is how to use a paring knife. See, this is a paring knife. You can use any kind. I mean, I know chefs use them to peel things and they make decorations with foods and stuff like that, and I think that's really cool. But when you grow up poor, and like we did, not them, but me.
I don't know. We kind of grew up poor.
Well, I know, but I just didn't want to get into that. We're thankful for what God has given us. We got a house and a kitchen that we can cook in, and food that we can eat, clothes that we can wear, cars that we can drive. So anyway, my mother, God rest her soul, she started cooking when she was 9. She was born in 1932, so her and my father were post Great Depression babies, and well, they were still in the midst of it in 1932, but
post-crash.
Yeah, post-crash, let's put it that way. And they were pre-World War II people, so they learned to make do with what they had. And my mother taught me how to peel an apple or a potato or a cucumber or any other kind of vegetable with a paring knife. And we didn't have fancy apple peelers like the one that we had that didn't work because it was old. And I'm sure there are really good there's really good stuff out there that you can use to make this faster. But there's something about actually using your hands and getting involved with the food itself and just, putting your personal touch on it. I mean, I remember when I was younger, my mother used to make me peel like tons of potatoes. I hate peeling potatoes. And I would just sit there and I would see how long I could make the peeling before it broke. And I got pretty good at it, too. These big, giant potatoes, I could peel like a giant string of peelings and then show my mother. She'd say, oh, that's good. And that was the end. She was a no-nonsense kind of woman.
But it was that personal accomplishment, like, that was a whole potato and one peel.
Yeah, that's cool, It just kind of distracted me from the starchy, slimy feeling that gets on your hands, and then after you put the potato down, your hand gets all stiff, and it's like you
I hate that starchy feeling.
if you put it in plaster of Paris and made a hand cast.
Sometimes Dad doesn't wipe off the table after he's peeled a bunch of potatoes. I'm sitting there watching like, why would you done this?
Oh, I don't know. So we'll be back and show you some more things that we're doing. Thanks for tuning in right now. We're back, and we've got the apples ready right down here, and we've got the syrup ready. It's all thickened and boiling and ready to go. So we fill this up. maybe, I don't know, 3½ ladles full.
Yeah, make sure there's at least an inch of space at the top.
Yeah, like this. See? You got that much space right there. I need a cover.
That's a wide mouth?
Yep.
There you go.
And we're going to water bath this for 5 minutes once it starts boiling. We're going to put it in there. We'll take another jar. It's still a little hot, but not too bad. Ooh, don't fall on me. And I know that it seems kind of gross, I'm using my hands, but with a spoon it's just be taking too much time.
And we consistently wash our hands while we do this.
Yeah, it's not like we're, like, you know, going to the bathroom and not washing our hands.
Yeah.
So we just, you know, you just keep doing this. I shake them down. That's about enough right there. Push them down in. They say that you need to use like a little spatula to get the syrup down in there, but I think that the fact that they're not packed real tight, it gives the opportunity to get down through.
Yeah, if you pack them too tight, the syrup's not going to get in there, even with a spatula.
Yeah, and it's not going to taste good. It'll taste uneven. So that was 3 ladles right there.
And there's a good amount of space at the top.
And
You just got to make sure the apples are covered.
Oh, one thing about screwing your lids on, don't screw them on tight all the way while you're putting them in for the water bath, because they got to have room to expand while they're in the water.
Yeah, once you take them out and wipe them off, then you can screw them back on tightly.
Yeah, because that gives it the opportunity to make the seal, and you'll hear them pop. It's a good sound. It's what we listen for every time we can.
What kind of mouth is that, wide?
Yeah. Wow, this is really thicker than fast.
Good. Excellent. This will make good pie.
And I can see it going down through and seeping down through where all the apples are.
Yeah, it gets nice in between everything.
Okay, let's show them what it looks like inside. See? That's a good ratio. At least to me it is. And like I said, I adjust recipes to what I think they should be.
Right. A lot of the time we cut out sugar in jam recipes because it just calls for way too much.
And it doesn't really give you a chance to taste the berry. All you're tasting is sugar.
Yeah, for instance, when we make our strawberry jam, it usually calls for 7.5 cups of sugar, but we only put in 5? 4. We only put in 4, and you can taste the strawberry instead of just the sugar.
It makes for a better jam. And well, I'm diabetic and my son's diabetic, so whoop. So I've had to cut back on sugar for a lot of things.
Ben, you can come through. Oh.
Yeah, I think this is going to do just about 6 jars.
How many's in the canner? 4?
4. It should be 5, and then I think we'll have enough for one more, maybe an extra one.
Okay.
Caitlin, why did you put that in there?
I knew I lost another one, but I couldn't find it.
I found it.
Oh, gosh.
This kettle right here, by the way, has been in my family since I was in high school, which was a years ago. No, I graduated in 1982, and these 2 kettles here, I helped my mother make lots and lots of stuff in. One of the things that she makes is homemade mincemeat, and I'm hoping I will be able to get a deer neck this year from someplace, because I found her, wrong one. I found her homemade mincemeat recipe, and it is so good. You can't even taste the deer meat. One. Whoa, that one's a little hot. Holy moly.
Careful, Mom. You need a paw holder?
No, I got the one that was cold. Cooler. And the recipe calls for you to make the slices thin, but I'm keeping it thick, so that will help the apple not to fall apart, I hope. This is the first time I've ever made this alone, so just praying. Here we go.
Yay!
I need a little more water in here.
Okay.
You can show them what it looks like.
Alright, well, I'm caught. Help.
Oh.
Thank you. So with these, you want the water to come up to about just under the neck.
Because if you don't do that, you have an uneven boil. So one of the things I was going to mention on this part is that...
I might have to turn this off.
Why?
The fan.
Oh, yeah. Sorry about that.
It's okay. You were going to mention?
Yeah, one of the things I was going to mention about this is that when a parent has a child diagnosed with something, Tourette's, cancer, leukemia, autism, Down syndrome, whatever it is, what happens is they go through this. Okay. They go through this. They go through the 5 stages of grieving, which are. That's Ben. He's trying to get away from us, but we're not going to let him.
Hi.
So what happens is there's. Can you help me remember, Caitlin?
Oh, fart. Denial.
Denial. Then there's
Anger.
anger. Then there's
Depression.
no, it's not depression. It's like you're trying to make a deal.
Bargaining.
Bargaining. And then there's depression. And then there's acceptance. And one of the things that I went through each time one of my children was diagnosed with Tourette's was I went through these 5 stages of grief. And it's not because that they were dead or anything like that. It was because everything that I wanted them, that I dreamed for them to want to try and do and, you know, experience, had to go on the back burner, so to speak. Because one of the things I had to do is I had to let them develop their own passions. And the hardest one I went through was Matthew, because everything was a first with him. When he was tested in special education in the 4th grade, we found out he didn't have any recall, which was really an eye-opener, and it was also a thing that made me feel really not good in the sense, well, oh good, he can't recall anything, but it made me feel relieved because I knew something was wrong and I couldn't tell what it was. So when we found out that he was diagnosed with Tourette's, and we got him tested in school, every 2 or 3 years they get tested, and we found out he didn't have recall, it helped me understand why he couldn't remember how to tie his shoe, why he couldn't remember how to hold a pencil, why he couldn't remember how to ride a bike. I mean, he still can't ride a bike. But my point being in all of this is that the reason Caitlin is like my cooking buddy is because it was something that she gravitated towards. And it is really, she has the guts to try something new and different, like curry. I would never have thought to make curry for my family because meal times, even now, are like short order cook. I'm a short order cook. I cook, or they get their own things. That if they don't like what I'm cooking, then they get their own meals. But when they were younger, I had to figure out what they could eat, what they couldn't eat. So Caitlin is taken to cooking because her OCD, her obsessive compulsive disorder, helps her to focus and stay on track with the recipe. And she's got a memory like a magnet, a huge magnet. She can remember anything that we do.
Except for what I had for breakfast yesterday.
Well,
long term is good. Short term, not so much.
I know what we had for breakfast yesterday. We had lead muffins. But like today, we've altered the recipe that I will post at the end of this video, and she'll remember it. Even if I can't, she will. She'll remember exactly how it goes. And that's one of the things about getting through the 5 stages of grieving, is that you eventually come to this oh moment where you can actually see their gifts and their potential to do things that maybe you had never thought of. Like, for instance, I wanted my kids to enjoy sports because I grew up in a family with 5 brothers and 2 sisters, and I played softball, and so Caitlin tried when she was 5 years old, 6 years old. She tried what's that called? Even I have.
Oh, T-ball.
T-ball. There we go. She tried T-ball, and she was really excited. She had her helmet on, and she was going up to bat. And my 3 sons and I were walking over towards an area to sit down so we could watch her. And all of a sudden, I heard this big whoop, and then I heard this scream at the top of her lungs, and I knew from that scream that it was Caitlin. And I turned around and looked, and she was running at me going, ah! Like that. Hey, Maggie. She was running at me like that because somebody had hit the ball, and it went right into her gut, her solar plex. And, I mean, it was a sad moment because I felt bad she got hurt, but boy, I tell you, some of the things these kids have done because of their Tourette's, I haven't meant to laugh, but there are times when you just can't help it, and I just busted out laughing.
Well, then once the moment's passed, you know, we can laugh at it too, because it is pretty funny.
Well, you know, the way you were running towards me on that field, your brothers just rolled on the grass laughing because, you know, it was funny to them. It was comical.
It helps that in the moment I couldn't tell you found it funny. You know, you were like, oh, honey, oh, no, what happened?
And then I knelt down on the grass and hugged you and started laughing, so you couldn't see me. But, you know, it's just one of the things that she really shines in is cooking. And, yeah, she doesn't do so well with muffins, but she can cook other things. I mean, she makes a mean chocolate cake, and she makes really good curry, and she can
stir fry.
Stir fry. Oh, her stir fry is awesome, her Asian food. And if I asked her to can or make jelly by herself, she could do that because she remembers how the process goes. So that's one of the things that Caitlin has shined in is she's really gifted in is cooking. And I'm really happy for that because there are days when I'm just so tired I can't do anything, and she'll just, you know, cook whatever I cook. And she knows the differences in each recipe that I have made myself, so that she can make it like I make it. And it you know, it's not so much like I make it, it's just that she knows the routine. And when she does it, it tastes better than mine because, hey, you know, I get tired of eating my own cooking. But anyway, that's it for now. We'll be back when we bring these out of the canner, show you what it looks like, and then we'll let you in on our little experiment of apple cider jelly.
Yay!
Yay! Hi! So, here we have the finished product. Apples that are not mush, but are nice and firm, and they've already started popping. So what you do is you wipe down the outer jar and the lid. You wipe it down like this. Be careful because they're hot. And then you tighten the lid on. And that helps them to put a good seal on the jar itself. And then you take and put it on a towel, which helps keep the heat in. Oh, wait a minute. And then you cover them up with blankets or towels, or you just keep them really nice and warm, because that also builds up the heat and helps them to seal better.
And it helps prevent botulism.
That's right, you don't want botulism. One of the things that we've done, what was I going to say? You interrupted my thought.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I was going to say that they've already started popping the second we opened up the lid and brought them out of the canner. So you just got to make sure that they're nice and tucked in for a nice warm bed. Nice warm bed. You put an extra blanket over them. And then you leave them there a couple of days and make sure that it seals. And you'll hear it seal because it will go pop, pop. And that's exactly what you want to hear. Because that means the seal has been made and I didn't cook it for 20 minutes. You don't want to cook it for 20 minutes because the apples turn to mush. I've seen it. When Mother cooked them for 20 minutes, it's not a pretty sight. God bless her. So, like I said, I adjust recipes the way I think they should look. Because when you put them in the crust and you put them in the oven, they're going to cook again anyway. So you don't want them into mush. I like to see apple pieces in my apple pie.
This is basically just apple pie prep.
Exactly. So, you know, if you make your homemade crust, you can do that, or buy already made crust in the store, and you just pour this in and cover it, and it's one apple pie. Or if you want an extra deep dish thick apple pie, you put 2 jars in. But anyway, over here we have all of the wonderful, wonderful gifts of God through tomatoes, green beans, pickles, mustard pickles, bread and butter pickles, and carrots are at the bottom over there, and we've got more over on the other side of the room. Plus we've got a whole Rubbermaid tote full of jams that we've made. So it's been a busy summer, and I know with the pandemic and everything we haven't really been able to get out. Oh, I just heard one pop. Haven't been able to get out and do much, but this is what Caitlin and I have been doing all summer. And the bread and butter pickles are so good. And so aren't the mustard ones.
Eat them with baked beans.
And let me show you what we're having for supper. I gotta stir them again anyway.
I might have washed your spoon.
One of the things with Caitlin is if you get stuff out to cook with and you don't keep an eye on it, she puts it away. My mother's homemade baked bean recipe. I gotta put a little water in those.
That's a big fat onion and a big fat piece of pork.
I don't know what you did with the measuring cup, so I have to use a bowl.
I don't remember.
You just want to keep those covered with water. You don't want them to dry up. Oh, there it is. Yeah, I know. I gotta change the tin foil in my oven. That's for supper with hot dogs, Kirshner hot dogs. Best kind around. Especially, well, except, you know, in Maine they're the best ones, and I grew up with those. So, we're going to mix some more sauce, and we're going to pack some more apples and get some more things going. Okay, so apples are all done. Apple pie filling come out beautifully. As soon as we took them out of the kettle, they started popping and sealing, and I'm thinking, thank you, Jesus, because that's food for my family in the winter. Not that I can't go and buy apples and make a fresh apple pie, because I could, but you know, you can use these for apple turnovers, you can use them for strudel, apple strudel. I mean, there's all kinds of things you can use. And the fact that the apples are still nice and big and not mush makes me happy, because I don't like mushy apple pie. So on to the jam. We are in the process of bringing to a boil 5 cups of apple cider and 3 cups of sugar. Now I'm following a real apple jelly recipe, but I thought it would be fun to try with apple cider because it has that little zing to it, you know. So the apple jelly recipe called for, was it 4 cups of sugar?
No, it's 7.5.
Ooh, 7.5 cups of sugar. Way too much sugar. And, you know, some people like it that sweet, but like I said, we got diabetics in the family, so we can't have it that sweet. So I put 3 cups of sugar in because apple cider is pretty much, no, I put 3 in.
Oh, okay.
Because apple cider, I told you that when you were washing the jars.
I just zoned out.
Okay, well that happens a lot. See, while I was figuring out what I needed for my apple jelly, I had to go back and get everything fresh and new from where it usually goes because Caitlin put it all away. Which is what she does to me. Makes me feel like I'm going batty because it's like I know I just got those spoons out. Anyway, apple cider is already a little bit sweet and it's tart, and I thought, I thought maybe the tartness of the apple cider would add to the jelly and make it a little bit zingier than just regular apple jelly. Because I've had regular apple jelly and it's okay, but I like something with a little bit of zing to it, like tartness, and like that's why I love lemon stuff. I'm a lemon girl. Anyway, we have to stir this because what happens is we don't want the sugar to burn and we don't want it to stick to the bottom of the kettle. So we're stirring it and stirring it and stirring it until it comes to a rolling boil. And then I usually let it boil for, what was it, strawberry jam? It was 4 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
4 minutes, and then I put my Cerdo in it. And the strawberry jam you have to put lemon juice in. But it didn't call for it for the apple jelly, so I'm not going to put it in here. But I will put the Cerdo in. And the thing about making jelly is some people like to do it in a pressure cooker, which is fine. But my mother taught me that a wax seal keeps the jelly safe just as much as, oh, there goes another jar popping. It keeps it safe from bacteria and stuff just as well as well, for us, it has done so for us over the years, just as well as boiling them in a canner, which I really don't get boiling jelly. It would kind of be nasty. But anyway, this is how my mother taught me how to do it. And if you want any of our recipes for canning tomatoes, canning green beans, canning carrots, making mustard pickles and bread and butter pickles, or making jelly, we'd be happy to share them. Just leave a comment on under the video or wherever you want to. I have a Facebook page too now. It's called Mary YB Author, and on it I talk about different things that's happened in our lives, about different thoughts I've had about Tourette's over the years. And I think one of the reasons why Caitlin likes to send me on a scavenger hunt for all my utensils and stuff that I need for cooking is because in her mind with OCD, everything has to be in its place before we can start something else. And unfortunately, that kind of makes for a little bit of a longer process, which is, okay. But I've learned to live with it. We laugh about it. And and the other guy you saw earlier crawling on the floor was Ben. Ben, look at him. Say hi. He's quite the character. But he's one of the second people in the United States that had deep brain stimulation surgery for Tourette syndrome in 2013. And it has been doing wonderfully for him. He's not had any more tics. The only time he tics is when the batteries in his chest die. Yes, he has batteries in his chest. He's our bionic man. Caleb's our second bionic man because he has a 15-year battery in his chest. It's a square, a rectangle. Anyway, it's kind of weird. It feels weird. And he talks to me and he says, Mom, when I roll on my back and stretch, I can feel the battery moving up my neck. I went, thank you, Caleb. That was very special. I love it when you share stuff like that with me. But it's a hot kitchen today, if you can tell, because we've got beans going, and we've been doing apple pie filling, and now we're doing apple cider jam. So keep your fingers crossed, and hopefully, by God's grace, this will come out good. Well, here's our jelly. I don't know, it's really, really hot right now. You can see the wax on top, and that's really hot still because the liquid is really hot. So basically what we have to do is we have to let this set and cool for a couple, 3 days, and hopefully it will thicken with the Cerdo in it. The recipe said to cook the Cerdo in with the jelly, but when we made our pepper jelly, we did that, and it didn't come out very well. So hopefully, if it doesn't, then it's an experiment that we'll know in the future won't work. So thank you for tuning in to our Apple Day, and we will look forward to talking with you again soon.